You're starting to sell jewelry. You're trying to decide what to prioritize when you are either listing jewelry you already have, or you're out looking for jewelry and maybe you're just getting blinded by the options. I'm going to share with you 10 different styles of jewelry today that seem to do really well when you're selling them online. Today's focus isn't necessarily so much on brands, but what kinds of styles of things do people tend to buy most often, in my experience. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Margaret. I have been selling on eBay, Etsy, and other platforms for over 10 years and making videos about it. And one of the things I love selling is jewelry because it is easy to buy, easy to store, easy to photograph, easy to ship, all of the easies, which I love. And I love sharing that with you because there's so much out there. And I love sharing that with you. Let's get talking about the 10 different styles of earrings that I find sell most frequently. The first category are bugs. And maybe bugs are something you would never want to wear as jewelry, but there are people who love bugs, especially bug earrings. And it doesn't have to be just Halloween. There are people that love the quirky bugs and love wearing them. Here are a few solds that I found on eBay. These Alexander McQueen spider earrings sold for $100. And this brand, Heidi Daus, sells well in all categories. These are called sticky fingers and they're little sparkly spider earrings. Butterflies are another bug that sells really well. People love butterflies and everything they symbolize. These are Swarovski crystal butterfly earrings that sold for $95. Here again, more butterfly earrings. These are Brighton butterfly earrings that sold for $69.99. And I'm not sure exactly what kind of bugs these are supposed to be. Maybe ladybugs or some kind of little beetle with their wings that come off like that. And these sold for $72. The next category are birds. I almost put bugs and birds together, but I felt like there were so many bird earrings that had sold that I decided they needed their own category. These are peacock earrings. They sold for $65. Next up are Betsey Johnson hummingbird flower earrings, and Betsey Johnson's a great brand to buy to resell in all categories. And these hummingbirds sold for $43. Lunch at the Ritz, another great brand. Here are some hummingbirds that sold for $134. And these parrot earrings sold for $35. Any kind of like tropical type bird. These are actually just gold tone, but a lot of times you might find them in wood or enamel and they're really bright colors. They can sell really well. And then here are some beautiful cardinal earrings that sold for $113. The next category of earrings that I find that sell really well are just funky statement earrings. So if you see some earrings and you're like, whoa, that's a choice, those are ones that can actually sell really well because there are people that love having punchy style or really showing off their character with their jewelry, their earrings. And so they are drawn to those. First up, these are adorable Easter earrings with these little hopping bunnies through the hearts. I would probably wear these. These are Betsey Johnson and they sold for $30. I counted these as statement earrings. They're really cool. What kind of leaf is that? There's some kind of tropical leaf, almost like an elephant ear. What do they have them like? They don't really say what kind of leaf they are, but they're bright white leaf earrings, and these sold for $150. I mean, get a load of these. These are like little sardine cans, little fish in a tin with a little key to open it up and little dangly fish. These sold for $42. I would have certainly bought these if I saw them out there. And then look at these. These are schiaparelli, which I'm sure I'm saying wrong, but eyes, nose. I mean, I'm sure there's probably ears out there too. These sell for $289. I mean, it's probably the brand, but still, if I saw these earrings out there, I would definitely think I should buy these. I bet somebody would love them. And then they're not exactly anything funky, but they're bright colors, that cobalt blue and that orange, flowers and teardrops. They're just really cool looking statement earrings. And these sold for $72. The next category that I love selling are two-tone or mixed metal earrings. So if you see earrings that are silver toned and brass, or perhaps brass and copper and all kinds of different metals together, I find that those can sell really well as well. So here are a pair of Brighton earrings that are two-tone that sold for $35. Brighton does a lot of two-tone, so I was trying not to grab too many Brighton, but I have a feeling there's a few on here. Another two-tone brightened pair of earrings for $35. Here are a pair of brass and silver tone earrings that are textured, kind of hammered look. These sold for $35. And another two-tone pair of earrings that sold for $65. And Napier is a great brand to sell, a great vintage brand, and these two-tone textured earrings sold for $45. Another pair of Brighton earrings, $68. Brighton is a great brand to resell, but you've got to watch out because they sometimes have got a lot of wear to them. The silver tone starts rubbing off, but if you find them in good condition, they can really bring in a good profit. The next style of earring that I find sells really well are floral earrings. These resin flower earrings sold for $85. Then here are some really cute little Pandora flowers that sold for $38.99. They look like little dogwoods, or maybe cherry blossoms. Here are some really pretty kind of enamel and aurora borealis stone drop earrings that sold for, well, the best offer was taken, but $79. And these Tarantino earrings sold for $18.99. And another pair that sold for also $18.99. I just love these kind of cornflower blue, probably resin carved earrings. They sold for $15, but man, I would have probably listed them for more. I don't know anything about this brand, but it's definitely something that's so pretty. Maybe they're worth $15, but I'm like, wow, those look like, do y'all ever do that? I think I look at things, I'm like, wow, those look like they would be worth a lot more than that. It's probably just personal preference. Another style of earring that I find sells really well are snowflakes. These snowflake earrings sold for $35, and these really pretty, almost a tassel earring sold for $44. Tiny tassel. These Talbot snowflake earrings sold for $70. And whoa, get a load of these snowflakes. They're all crystal blue and purples, and they sold for $98. Here's some other just pretty simple snowflake drop earrings, and they sold for $69. These are 14 karat gold snowflake earrings, but they're so pretty, and they sold for $67. And here are some really cute Kate Spade snowflake earrings, and they actually have little ice skates on them as well. They sold for $45. And there's Betsey Johnson again. These sold for $38. And these Sugar Fix earrings, I love the 3 snowflakes in a row. These sold for $13. There's Kirk's Folly again, and these sold for $18. Another style of earrings that people like buying are hearts. Doesn't have to be February, Valentine's Day. People like to wear heart earrings or stars all year round. And these are some really unusual. They look like they're made of clay, but it says they're in enamel. These sold for, well, best offer was taken, but they were up for around $15. Look at these. It looks like oh, it is swans because it's Swarovski. That makes sense. So these swan heart earrings sold for almost $90. And then look at these. These are really pretty white, pink, 2 tones of pink. These sold for $84.50. Best offer taken. And here are some little 10 karat gold earrings that have a heart and a little stone, and they sold for $30. Another pair of Brighton, these hearts, that kind of scroll work in there, they sold for $42. Brighton again with the enamel hearts. These hit the hearts, they hit the enamel, they hit the flowers. These sold for $48. And Betsey Johnson again, she has a lot of hearts and like animal prints in her style. So you can see here more hearts from Betsey Johnson. These sold for $15. Pandora, another great brand, these sold for $33. And these dangle scrollwork hearts sold for $10.95. Little tiny Kate Spade with little stones set into them, kind of like a little pillow set. These sold for $26. I try to share multiple price points to show that not all the heart earrings you find are going to sell for hundreds of dollars, but being able to sell earrings for $20, $18, you're still going to make a pretty good profit, especially if you're able to buy these. Say you find them in a jewelry jar, or you're at a garage sale and all the earrings are 50 cents. Then if you find a pair of earrings for 50 cents and they sell for $12, $10, that's still like $8 profit. Well, some people feel they don't want to list things for such a small amount. My rule of thumb is if it's probably $5 or more, I'm happy with that because it contributes to my bricks and mortar method of reselling, which is the bricks are the big chunks of money, and the mortar are all those little sales that fill in the gaps along the way. Plus, jewelry is so easy to list and store and ship that I can list a $15 pair of earrings pretty quickly. The next style of earring that I find sells really well are holiday earrings. I almost took these into different categories like Halloween and Christmas and Easter and Valentine's, but I realized that some of them fall into multiple categories. So I was like, let's just put them all together. For example, these snake earrings could have gone with Halloween or with animals, but these snake earrings I put with Halloween, and they sold for $10.99. Here we've got some little figural Easter bunny clip-on earrings that sold for $12.97. Some more Easter, $10.95. These look like the ones that 1989. Like these look like the ones kind of from when I was younger. However, in '89 I was already in high school, so let's just move on past that. And then we've got Betsy Johnson again. These Christmas earrings that have ho 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 on them for $23.25. And look at these little, they're unsigned, but they're Weiss. These sold for $30, these little Christmas trees. Here's some more Christmas trees. They sold for $51. And then look at these, they're so cute. Looks like little stockings filled with toys and Christmas trees. These sold for almost $80. And just some little enamel Christmas tree earrings sold for $14.88. More Christmas trees, $15. As you can see, Christmas tree after Christmas tree. We do love our Christmas, don't we? Here are some. They're mixed metal and Christmas, so they hit a couple of categories. These sold for $28.60. It's really fantastic when you can find jewelry that hits multiple categories that sell well. Here are some little clip-on skeleton earrings. Would you wear skeleton earrings? I would, especially if they glowed in the dark. These look like they look like they would glow in the dark, but it's not in the title. Some more little spiders. They could have gone spider or Halloween. $15 on those. And these little witches are so cute. They're enamel and they sold for $16.99. Do y'all remember back in the day when if you wanted spider earrings, you had to buy them at Halloween time because you couldn't find them anywhere. There was no internet back then. If you wanted black, I remember stocking up on black nail polish because you had to do it in October because the pharmacy didn't sell black nail polish year round. That was how it was back in the day in the 80s. And then take a look at these. These are Christmassy. They've got the bow, they've got the wreath, they're red, they're blingy, they're so pretty. These sold for almost $200. And Harley Davidson is a great brand to sell. Big customer loyalty base there. And these sold for about $90. We've got some more skulls. These are some more Tarantinos that sold for $32. More skulls, Vivienne Westwood for $55. Same thing. You could not find skulls and bats and things like that year round back then. It had to be Halloween. The next style of jewelry that sells really well, I almost put in a couple different categories here, but I chose like scroll work. So metals that have like scroll work. Other things that could fall into this are the caviar style, which is lots of little beads. They look like little beads, like little balls that are set into it. Things that are hammered or textured. All of that type of jewelry seems to do really well, but I was focusing on scroll work on this one. So here we've got some scroll work ball earrings that sold for $26.99. And here are some more little scroll work that had little pearls with them. And these sold for $22.88. These are Carolyn Pollock sterling silver textured. They're textured and they've got the scrolls that sold for $27. These Kendra Scott earrings, they've got this open work. It's almost like a Moroccan style. It's also mixed metal, and these sold for $20.50. These were on auction. I don't usually do auction because I find I can get a higher price for the most part when I sell it, buy it now. Might take longer, but that's my strategy. Here are these really pretty Art Nouveau scroll work earrings. And those beads at the end, they remind me of locusts or that iridescence, just so pretty, like a peacocky iridescence on those. Here are some scroll work earrings that sold for about $40. And another style that has been really popular for a while are tassels. Believe it or not, I don't wear very many tassel earrings. I think I've got a couple pieces of jewelry that have tassels on them, but I love judging and singing about them. All right, so these are Lily Pulitzer tassel earrings that sold for $28. These, I wouldn't have necessarily, I guess they're tassels. They're just a little three. It's like a mini tassel. These sold for $18. Then these beaded tassel earrings sold for $29. And here we've got these silpata with the coins. I like these a lot though. These sold for $21. Coins, tassels, Love it. And here are some, I like how they've got the photos done on this one because you really get a sense of those long tassels. That might drive me nuts hitting my shoulders though. These sold for $24. Margaret, these aren't for you. Here are some really pretty turquoise beaded tassels that sold for $25 and some fabric ones that sold for $18. These are pretty tassels too. I like the little coin beading at the bottom of these. These sold for $30. Oh, and these Kendra Scott tassel earrings sold for $33. These are really pretty. Here we've got some more like fabric-y, I guess it's thread really, tassels that sold for $35. And these can get all wonky when you find them sometimes, but there are ways to straighten those tassels out, trim them up and make them look nice again. Here's another one. I love selling turquoise colored stuff because people really like that color. It pops. And these sold for $29.90. And these leather tassels sold for $50. I would love to hear from you. Leave a comment down below and let me know what style of earrings you find sells most frequently for you. And make sure you check out the comment section because there's so much knowledge being dropped down there. I learned so much from you guys. You think you're learning from me, I'm learning right back from you. I so much appreciate you being here and taking the time to learn with me and hang out. And I will see you on the next video. Bye.